So remember there's a seat at the table dinner that was hosted by Emma Grede, and Meghan was there, and she was surrounded by beautiful, stunning, successful, powerful women. Remember? And people were so excited to see her around such an incredible, a community of women, group of women. And I knew it's only a matter of minutes before the meltdown begins in Salty Island. And I'm telling you, it is crazy. It's so crazy because the meltdown is here. So they are pissed that Meghan dared to attend a lavish dinner. They are now spewing lies that she's the one who made this dinner, when it's clear as day and night she had nothing. She was invited and she attended to support her friends, to be in a group of this, talk about ways to empower each other. Like, I would love to be at such a table where I'm surrounded by gorgeous, powerful, very ambitious, empowering women. I would want to do that. I know millions of women would want that, to learn a thing or two from each other. But the UK media thinks otherwise. Now, this is one of William's minions, right? And I think William and Mumbles are pissed, especially Kate, that she was not there. Who will invite Kate there? What is she going to do? Mumble her way through everything? Like, what is she going to do there? So no one invited her, and of course they are pissed. And let me tell you something. It's one thing if this article was written by a woman, I'd be like, oh, she's better, she's just jealous. But let me give you something, like, drum roll please, disclaimer. There's a misogynistic man who wrote this piece. Like, it was written by a man. Let me show you the headline, guys, so that you guys, the UK media needs therapy. Someone said the UK media needs therapy, and I totally agree. So according to her, a woman-only vegan banquet attended by the Duchess of Sussex was a lesson in self-congratulatory vain adoration, writes William Sitwell. So congrats, Meghan, you helped create the worst dinner party in history. And that was written by this buffoon called William Sitwell. Why is this man in women's business? That's the first question. That's what the internet was asking her. Why are you all up in women's business? Are you bitter that you are not invited? What is wrong with you? The thing is, men do this all the time, right? So it's okay for men to go out to have dinners, business, and talk about business and everything. But when women do it, it's a problem. It's a problem when women do it. And then, another thing, people are like, so if Meghan was not there, they will not be having this meltdown, right? They'll be like, okay, fine, it's a dinner. But since Meghan is there and they see Meghan has friends surrounded by very, very successful people, successful women, they're pissed. Remember, for a while now, they've been going with the narrative that, hey, Meghan does not have friends. Meghan is going to fail. No one likes Meghan. And then she's surrounded by amazing women who are empowered by her, and she's empowered by them. And they hate that. So this man, this buffoon who is all up in women's business, decided, hey, let me insert my pathetic self in women's business and trash Meghan's dinner. First and foremost, it was not a vegan dinner. Let's just start by that. Because a lot of people have said they saw chicken, they saw turkey, so it was not a vegan dinner. And she's not the one who created this. She was invited by Emma and she attended. And I normally don't read articles, but this one has people are dragging this William Sitz, whoever buffoon, to her. And this is the first time I'm going to read it to you because I would have ignored, but it had some things I was like, this man is unhinged. So William Sitwell, congrats, Meghan. You helped create the worst dinner party in history. A woman-only vegan banquet attended by the Duchess of Sussex was a lesson in self-congratulatory vain adoration, right? So here's what this buffoon is saying. I think I may have witnessed the ghastliest, most grotesque, most vulgar, most shallow, most revolting, most tasteless, most vacuous, most vainglorious dinner party in history. In short, the worst. You pathetic buffoon. I'll go on. I wasn't there, thankfully. So you're bitter you were not invited. Anyway, let me go on. I couldn't be. For a start, I'm a man, and that ruled me out straight away. But even if I had been invited, Los Angeles isn't particularly convenient for a midweek feed. But I could lap up the atmosphere, get a feel for the food, the wine, company, and hear the speeches, because it was all there on social media. And like a gory crush, I couldn't stop craning my neck and having a good gulp. A seat at the table was hosted by Emma Grede, the British chief executive of a fashion brand, Good American, and a founding partner of Kim Kardashian's Skims line. And none other than Meghan was the guest of honor. Held at designer Kelly Whistler's home, it featured a vegan banquet and as ever wine supplied by the Duchess of Sussex herself. So her appearance came after a 2-week PR bender, which included her dipping into Paris Fashion Week, where she sported her finest "Don't look at me, look at me" pose, then popping to the New York to collect an award alongside husband Harry for Humanitarians of the Year, and then to Washington, D.C. to speak at the Most Powerful Women Summit. The New York acceptance speech highlighted the devastating impact of social media, which helpfully Meghan was then able to exemplify perfectly at the Grede dinner. Because splashed all over Instagram and the like was endless posing before, during and after Wednesday. So like I said for years now that Meghan is a billion-dollar industry, and these people just, they figured hating on Meghan is a billion-dollar industry. Mind you, the reason why there's an uproar and people are dragging this man to oblivion is the fact that he's in women's business. If this was like William and Kate or whatever, he will be silent. So this is wrong. It's wrong for Meghan to be surrounded with these successful, amazing women, in business. But it's okay for Trump's banquet dinner. That's relatable. That's fine. But Meghan being, minding her business, like just in company of good women, just learning from one another, that's bad. And you can see the bitterness from him, how he was not invited, how, it was glamorous, how, those amazing women. They just hate that Meghan was there. Meghan is rich and these women are rich and very successful. That Meghan is surrounded by such women. That's why they're mad, right? So this buffoon is getting dragged to the field and they're like, hey, tell William and Kate to stop it. They can never get this invite. Tell Kate to stop. She'll never be invited to these things. She can never get to the level where Meghan is. Because what is she going to do when she's invited there? So this man, the misogyny, like the way he inserts himself in things that don't concern him, is honestly so sick. Like, go focus on the leftover royals. You fund them so much money, millions of money. You should pay attention to Andrew. What's bothering you? Leave Meghan alone. She's minding a business, thriving. Literally, all this woman does is make strawberry jam, raspberry jam, cook, garden, and just be, her beautiful self and take care of her husband and kids. That's literally what she does. She's a good soul, but no. People are happy that she gets a seat at an amazing table with wonderful women. Because remember, they want her alone, they want her miserable, crying, like she does not have friends. And then, whoa, voila, yeah, she's surrounded with great women who love being in her company. And like the other one, who we don't even have, I've never seen her go to lunch with friends or even like a girl's thing out. So these people are ridiculous, they're despicable, and just shows. It really, really shows. So here are the comments. The Sussex soldier says, first, Meghan was invited. Second, you're just angry because you know that your lazy, mumbling, damn old-faced future queen will never be invited to that kind of table. The table of hard-working, intelligent, financially independent women. Third, cry harder. Chef's kiss. I love that one. Michelle says, oh, Diddums, are you jealous that none of you were at the table? Shame on you at William Sitwell. Marsha says, now let's see your future queen invited to dinner with successful, kind, beautiful, independent business women. Harry says, I love to see women succeed, thrive, have businesses, careers, wealth, and be happy. A meeting like this of successful women will provide stimulating conversation, intelligent opinions, and helpful advice. I'm sure they share real learning experiences and thoughtful support. Sandy says, lols, UK doesn't eat without Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. UK is getting even more ridiculous day by day. Jay says, how bitter and twisted must you be to write this rubbish? Ether says, William is upset that he didn't get an invitation. You're not in their tax bracket, Bill. G says, no one would read this bullshit without Meghan's name. That's the power of this extraordinary women of substance. No other role comes close. Rasha says, vegan, I saw chicken or turkey on the table. Elizabeth says, I'm not writing about an all-female dinner where he didn't attend. How desperate. Why doesn't he write about Dirty Andy? Meghan says, the worst dinner parties in history are dinner parties your Duke of Pork, Lord Mountain Man, Charles' uncle, and Jimmy Savile, Charles' your friend, attended and where vulnerable people were trafficked and raped. Manzi says, she did not create it. She was a guest, you idiot. It looked like a fun and wonderful experience to network with successful women who are more than happy to share and uplift other women. Yeah, I know. That's a foreign concept in your world. Ava says, this weird obsession with a woman who doesn't even live in this country. Anyone is the best sign of how much our media need therapy. D says, men can't handle successful women. They can't. They really can't. And then Nico replies, men can't. Men can, boys can't. Well, that's a good one. Bia says, tell William and Kate to give it up. Meghan is thriving without the corrupt royal family. Enough is enough. Ali says, women supporting women is a celebration. Nothing wrong with celebrating success. Old men finding fault with beautiful, successful women is as old as time. Threatened by their success, boring, but it shows that powerful women who stick together and support are amazing. Bexy says, how miserable are you? She was invited. She didn't host it. Now all women in business are to be bullied and not seen for their success because of your hate for one woman who didn't even know who you are. How pathetic. C says, wait, your mother's women got together to celebrate their success? Lol, delusional. Just says, so women can get together and brainstorm for the businesses, then have dinner. Misogynistic Fs. Men do it all the time. Caroline says, do you have a problem with successful women, Mr. Sitwell? And would you have commented on it if Meghan hadn't been there? I can only conclude you prefer women to be in the kitchen and you hate the fact Meghan is doing so well. Neither paints you in a good light. He says, why is William Sitwell upset about a woman's dinner party 6,000 miles away in a different time zone and on a different continent? He might want to get some therapy for his hatefulness and learn to mind his own business. Focus on boring William and Kate events. Scout says, don't you have a pea prince to focus on or working royals who don't work? Are they too dull or can you only generate clicks and revenue off Meghan's success? Marsha says, oh, you bees are still hard that Meghan's successful away from that snake island. Sit and cope. Your endless bullying campaign have zero effect outside of that miserable island. Steph says, it's always the men with small d's that are intimidated by successful women. True. Shelly says, wow, this really got under your skin, huh? It appears so. Ari says, it seems like you wanted to be invited. Enjoy your paycheck. Masha says, oh, shut up. The royal family is a disgrace. They don't deserve Meghan. Talk about Andrew. There's more revelation coming. Then Debbie says, written by an effing man. Piss off. Selena says, Prince William talks about dealing with work. Oh, sorry, that's a different one. So, my loves, what do you think about this entire thing? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, to like and to share. I'm Mirald, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.